As a superpower, the United States, US has very strong air power to protect domestic interests and security, as well as the interests of its allied countries. History records how air power was also a decisive factor in the victory of the Allies in World War II. Massive bombings carried out by the Allies led by the United States, US, and Britain on industrial and military centers of Germany, battered Nazi Germany. World War II on the Pacific Front ended when the US Air Force deployed its fleet of long-range B-29 bombers to bomb the cities of Hiroshima and Nagasaki in August 1945, prompting the Japanese to surrender unconditionally to the Allies thereafter. After the end of World War II, the air power of a war-winning country like the US continued to grow and become stronger, with the operation of jet engine bombers that could go very fast and were able to strike their targets with more precision. During the Cold War, air power was also a very important factor to be developed by both the US and its allied countries, and the Soviet Union at that time. Technological development and competition to be the best in the air finally gave birth to several new fighter aircraft, with very special specifications that made their presence on the battlefield feared by the enemy. One of the aircraft that was born with these special specifications is the B-2 Spirit stealth bomber, belonging to the US Air Force, AU. The B-2 Spirit stealth bomber has a very different design when compared to other fighters. With a design similar to a flying wing, until now no other country, both its allies and rivals like Russia, has an aircraft with a similar design. One of the main advantages of the B-2 Spirit aircraft is its stealth characteristics. This intercontinental heavy bomber, which is only owned and operated by the US Air Force, is very difficult to track and detect by the radar system, so that its undetected presence on the battlefield makes its own fear for the opposing party. The B-2 Spirit is designed to be able to penetrate even the most advanced enemy air defense systems without being seen in the radar system. The aircraft's unique design, special coating on its airframe and exhaust emission control system make it difficult for enemy radars to detect its presence on the battlefield. In combat, B-2 Spirit bombers are tasked with hitting vital targets with smart bombs carried in their bellies. Here are 5 facts about the B-2 Spirit stealth bomber, which is one of the most feared aircraft on the battlefield. 1. The B-2 Spirit bomber was shown to the public in 1988, and was first involved in the war in 1999. Launching information from the article entitled, "The Legendary B-2 Stealth Bomber Made Its First Flight 30 Years Ago Today. Here's Why It's Still One of the World's Most Feared Warplanes." On the businessinsider.com page, the B-2 Spirit stealth bomber is shown to the public for the first time in 1988, just before the end of the Cold War. The design was physically different from existing bombers, such as the Boeing B-52 Stratofortress bomber, or the Rockwell B-1 Lancer bomber. The Northrop Grumman B-2 Spirit bomber first flew on July 17, 1989. The B-2 Spirit was originally designed and built to carry nuclear bombs deep into Soviet territory, without being detected by radar. Its unique design combined with its stealth system allowed it to be undetected by Soviet radar. The B-2 Spirit is also designed as a long-range bomber, which means it can fly deep into enemy territory and back to base. The collapse of the Soviet Union made the B-2 Spirit also operated to carry non-nuclear bombs. The B-2 Spirits were first involved in warfare in 1999. When NATO carried out airstrikes on Serbian forces to force them to withdraw from Kosovo, a conflict also known as the Kosovo War. In the war, B-2 Spirit aircraft destroyed a number of strategic targets, such as air bases and communication facilities, protected by anti-aircraft weapon systems. Its stealth characteristics are able to make it operate effectively in air combat missions that are more limited than conventional fighter aircraft on the battlefield, but provide greater striking power when compared to the capabilities that can be carried out by ordinary fighter aircraft. In the Kosovo War in 1999, also unexpected things happened when a stealth aircraft of another type, F-117 Nighthawk, which had a call sign Vega 31, was shot down by a Serbian air defense weapon system. The F-117 Nighthawk is the first generation of stealth aircraft. The shooting of the aircraft and the war became big news. The pilot who manned it managed to eject from the plane and was rescued by the combat SAR team a few hours later. After being involved in the war in the Balkans, B-2 Spirit was also involved in the wars in Iraq and Afghanistan in the following years. 2. The B-2 Spirit stealth bomber is one of the engineering masterpieces in the world of military aviation. Spirit stealth bomber is one of the engineering masterpieces in the world of military aviation. The YouTube channel belonging to Northrop Grumman's account above shows how the plane takes off in the air, with its unique design that is very different from ordinary planes. Computer assistance is needed to make it stable in flight. The B-2 Spirit stealth bomber has dimensions of height 5.1 meters, length of 21 meters and wingspan of 52.4 meters, which is a great way to hide that size from radar systems. The B-2 Spirit aircraft has a maximum speed of Mach 0.95. Launching information from airforcetechnology.com. The B-2 Spirit is manned by 2 pilots, has a sophisticated instrument radar system, and is capable of carrying bombs, with a capacity of up to 40,000 pounds, about 18 tons, either nuclear bombs, such as the B-61 or B-83, and conventional non-nuclear bombs such as Mk-84, Mk-82, and CBU-87. The B-2 Spirit is also capable of carrying M129 cruise missiles and JDAM, Joint Direct Attack Munition, satellite-guided missiles. 21 B-2 Spirit stealth bombers were delivered to Whiteman Air Force Base in Missouri in December 1993. All B-2 Spirit aircraft bear the U.S. state name except for 2 aircraft, Spirit of America and Spirit of Kitty Hawk. The B-2 Spirit is a fighter aircraft with an expensive operating cost of around United States dollars $130,000 per hour. Handling on the ground also requires special treatment, such as having to be stored in a hangar that has a temperature control to maintain a stealth layer in the airframe. 3. The B-2 Spirit bomber holds the record for the longest aerial combat mission in history. As an intercontinental bomber capable of reaching all points of the world, the B-2 Spirit is capable of a range of 6,000 nautical miles, approximately 11,000 kilometers, on its internal fuel, and with a single refueling in the air, it can cover a range of 19,000 kilometers, so theoretically, its range is only limited by the endurance of the pilot who manned it. The B-2 Spirit bomber holds the record for being the aircraft involved in the longest aerial combat mission in history. In 2001, B-2 Spirit of America and 5 other B-2 Spirit aircraft were the first to enter Afghan airspace for a record 44-hour combat flight mission from their base in the US. Even more impressive, the B-2 made a quick 45-minute pit stop for a crew change with the engine still running, and then flew back to its base in Missouri, USA, with a travel time of 30 hours, bringing its total flight time for round-trip combat missions to over 70 hours. 4. Accident records on the B-2 Spirit bomber. To date, not a single B-2 Spirit stealth bomber has been shot down while carrying out its mission in combat, although no one has ever been shot down in combat. But as the information contained in the article entitled B-2 Spirit, the $2 billion flying wing on the CNN.com page, there were 2 accidents that befell this stealth bomber. The first accident occurred in 2008, which destroyed this stealth aircraft. The crash occurred shortly after the B-2 Spirit of Kansas took off from Anderson Guam Air Base. In this incident, there was a problem with the aircraft's sensor system that did not function properly, causing chaos in the aircraft controller's computer system. As a result, the aircraft failed to take off and fell to the runway and exploded. Both pilots managed to eject from the plane and survived. The second recorded crash occurred in 2010. A fire broke out in the B-2's engine, and the aircraft had to undergo extensive repairs before returning to service. The B-2 Spirit stealth bomber is a very expensive aircraft at United States dollars $2 billion. 6 units of B-2 is equivalent to the price of the largest and most expensive aircraft carrier owned by the U.S. Navy, USS Gerald R. Ford, CVN-78, which costs United States dollars $13 billion. Currently, of the 21 aircraft that have been delivered to the U.S. Air Force, as many as 20 aircraft are still active, 1 destroyed in an accident. 5. Future Long-Range Stealth Bomber Development Project. The B-2 Spirit bomber has been in service for more than 30 years, and of course the service life of a defense system platform will ultimately be limited by its lifespan. Some time ago, the U.S. Air Force has shown a rendering of a model of the B-21 Raider bomber that will become a long-range bomber in the future. There is still very little information regarding the new bomber aircraft that is being developed, because as a strategic weapon, its dimensions and specifications are still very secret. From its physical form, The B-21 Raider bomber design looks similar to the B-2 Spirit bomber, with a flying wing-like design. The B-21 Raider is a stealth bomber, with the latest and greatest technology being developed to replace the U.S. Air Force's aging bomber fleet. Over time, currently only about 10% of the U.S. bomber force is able to penetrate the defenses of potential adversaries, who already use highly sophisticated defense technologies and platforms. The future presence of the B-21 Raider will combine payload, range and penetrating capabilities into enemy defense systems that the B-1 bomber, B-52 bomber cannot, and even to a very limited extent, the B bomber cannot. -2 Spirits. Here are 5 facts about the B-2 Spirit stealth bomber, which is one of the most feared aircraft on the battlefield.